Hi, let's learn about data validation in this video. So, when you hear data validation, it's all about placing some rules in some columns of your sheet, which will restrict people from entering the wrong data. Okay, so for instance, we have a column in this data set called platform, and there are some categories of platforms that are listed here. Now, if you intend to have more data being entered in this on this sheet, let's add more rows. Say from 116,600 down, and you don't want people to enter the platforms that are outside the ones listed here. Let's say those are the only existing platforms. Now you can enter a rule that would come in form of a list of these platforms so that one can easily pick from the list or type it directly. But if a wrong platform is entered, a warning will be you can just pop up a warning to say, oh, this is the wrong platform, please enter the right platform. So that is what data validation is all about, and there are tons of rules that one can play with. So let's quickly see how to achieve that. What I'll go ahead to select from the first item under the platform column down to the very last row, including, so I've selected the existing records. Now I want to select the ones that have no information, the cells that have no record stored in them. So how to do that again? Okay, let me just explain how I selected these things just once. So you select the first item under the column called platform, hold on your Control and Shift key and press your down arrow key. It will automatically highlight every single record to the last one. Now you press the same key, Control Shift and the down arrow key to highlight every other empty cells. All right. And the next step to take is to click on data validation. Click on data validation under the data menu. Click on data and then select data validation. Now, once you do that, the data validation rules pane will pop up by the right side of your screen, just as seen on my screen. Click on add rule. Okay, once you select add rule, you would see that this has been entered automatically, right? So I want to select my rule from a range. I have already created a range which contains the list of the existing platforms. Okay, when you scroll to the right of my screen, you will find a list here. So here's a list of all existing platforms, right? Once you have your list like this created, you can come here over here and see this is select data. Click on that. It pops up this select data dialog. Just click on the first cell containing the first list, the first item on the list, and then scroll down. You can press Shift key on your keyboard and select the last item. That will help you highlight all the lists that should be under the platform list. Then click OK. Okay, so once you do that, you have the list created for yourself. So this is the list of all the items that are stored under the platform column. Okay, so you can see that you have drop downs now. All right. If you're satisfied with your settings, you can just go ahead and hit the done button, and you can check it out. You click this, you see all the list of items, the list of platforms. All right, you can select anyone from the list. So when you get down to the last record again, let's head over to the last record. You see that after the last record, you have buttons, the drop downs, which contains the list of items. So one cannot enter an item or a platform that is outside this list when filling other records. Okay, if I should intentionally type in something different, say I just type in house and press enter, it gives me this warning that there was a problem. The data you entered in cell C16600 violates the data validation rule set on this cell. Okay, now, which means that you're not entering the correct data from the list. Okay, now if you want to add a customized message, instead of showing the data validation rule violates data entered in this cell, you can set a message for yourself. Let's select the advanced options, and it says show help text for a selected cell. When you click here, you find the box where you can actually type in a text for yourself. Okay, I would say uh, select item from the drop down list. Okay, from the drop down list. All right, so once you do this and you click on done, so there are two other options there, which I have chosen one from. So you can see one says, let's go back to the advanced options. One says reject input, the other says show a warning. So if you click on show a warning to accept the input but it show warning. So when you say reject input, it won't allow the input to get in at all. All right, so let's try it out as we try typing something that is not within the drop down. Okay, so let's just type in ACT. So let's get back here and type in ACT. Now you can see the error message. It says select an item from the drop down list. So whatever message you want to pop up, add it under that advanced option list. Okay, and then it won't accept that input. All right, so if I want to clear this off, just click on backspace and you're good to go. All right, so that is how to set a list as your validation rule. There are other options and other kinds of validation rules that one can set. Okay, you can set multiple validation rules. So let's get back to let's work with a numeric column, and these are numeric columns. If we're interested in gathering the sales that are positive sales, for instance, all right. So what I need to do is select all the records here or the entry, and if you want to do for those cells that are empty, you do the same thing. Control shift and select until you get to the very last as existing cell or row existing cell under that column. All right, so I need to select that again, shift enter and then get back. So I want to get back to the very top. Okay, so I go ahead again and a rule add a rule for the column H. All right, as you can see, this list has been entered already, and I do not want a list. Okay, I don't intend to add a drop down list for this validation. Rather, I want to add a condition. So you can see a lot of criteria. Text contains, text does not contain, text is exactly, text is valid email, text is valid URL, and so on and so forth. So I'm interested in selecting text is greater than or equal to. Okay, let's work with greater than. So when I choose greater than, what that will mean is I do not want a sale of zero. So I want to capture text is greater than zero, means that I only want positive sales. So if there are any zeros, it's going to show warning for that cell. I don't want someone to enter a zero as the sales or enter a negative value. All right. So when we do this, let's wait. When we do this and then click on done, you can go ahead and check out that how this works. So we've already added the validation. In this case, you won't find this kind of drop down lists here because you're only testing for positive values, and we are not interested in checking or giving a list of items. So when you scroll down through your list to check through for those items that those entry that are zero, you can see one of them. It has a warning. It said input must be greater than zero because this is zero and I've set it to be greater than zero. So here's a warning. So this is also how you can catch some wrong entry in your data set. If you know already what should be on each column, so you can just add a data validation so you can easily catch those wrong entries, right? So this is one of it. In case we are dealing with only numbers that are greater than zero, so we have that zero we have another zero. So all the zeros, or anytime you have, if you possibly have records that are negative, it's going to show you a warning sign. Okay, let's just get right down at the bottom of the sheet. And if you attempt typing, say, -5, for instance, it gives you that error: input must be greater than zero. So here is accepting it because the under the advanced option, we selected show warning, show a warning, right? If the data is invalid, show a warning. It's not reject input that was selected. Now if we select reject input, it means all those space that have zero, or if you put in -5, that it will make the cells become blank, like it's just going to reject it absolutely. But we shouldn't reject input for this, just show warning, so that you can go back and adjust that cell by deleting the record or typing in the correct number. Okay, but in this case, since we have zero cells, or zero sales for some entries, it's better we use the greater than or equal to option. Greater than or equal to. When you change these settings to greater than or equal to and click on done, you will find out that all the zeros that are showing warnings are no longer showing warnings. All right, and that is cool. But when you try to impute a negative value still, it will keep showing the warning. -10 shows you the warning, say, okay, oh, you've entered the wrong number. So you can also drop in a message and reject input if it's not in the right range. You can drop in a message, please enter a positive number. Please enter a positive number. When you click on OK and then try entering this again, -10, it says please enter a positive number. Let me see. I think this option does not allow to reject an input because the input is still there. However, you have the error. So since this is an input, it's going to be typed in. It's not like a list of items. All right. So this is how to enter your validation. This is all what data validation is all about, trying to ensure that the right data is entered in each column. And you have a lot of rules, right? Like I showed you the other time, a lot of rules. You can enter list, you can enter is greater than, you can even put in your own custom formula. And if you want to have a checkbox for sold out or not, sold out or not, if you want to put a checkbox where if it is sold out, the checkbox can be clicked. If not, it won't be clicked. So you can just add your rule by selecting drop down. I want to add another rule. I want to add a new rule. Now this rule is just for checkbox. All you do is just select checkbox and click on done, and that is it. So you've entered, created checkbox for each of these cells under the column called sold out or not. So if it's sold out, this will be checked. If it isn't, leave it unchecked. Don't check the box. Checked, check, check, and so on. So if you want to check or uncheck all the items under this box, when you highlight all the boxes you want to check, you press your space bar to check all, and you press your space bar to uncheck all. So that is how to check once and uncheck once. All right, so this is all about data validation. I would like you to go ahead and explore more of this, see how this works, and I wish you all the best in your data analytics journey. Goodbye and see you in the next video.